is a lesson on the windmill. Now, a good practitioner wants to be completely in control over how he's distributing his or her energy. Okay? This here is a dialing tool. This teaches you how to spin things faster, to spin things slower, and to create dynamics. Now take a look. Now notice I did a directional change, slowed it down. What I'm doing now is keeping a steady pace. And notice that I have directional control. How am I applying directional control? I can either do and point at the back of the flag itself, okay? That's a good way of definitely playing with directions. Or, now let's go ahead and alter some speeds here. Another way to do it is by reaching into the back. We're talking about these back two rungs right here, okay? And this is often how I will change speeds and directions, is that what I do is I put my fingers back here on the back two rungs, just like so, okay? And then I will aim into a certain part, just like that. You see how I'm changing that speed right there? Okay, stops and starts too are extremely important. But when you get right back here, right in the back two spots, it becomes a lot easier to control the speeds of how this thing will operate, how fast the energy will hit it, and then of course the directionality, which I've showed on quite a few occasions. So, here we got it at a dead stop. We're going to pick it up slowly, see that? Now I've got my preferences set pretty well. So they pretty much, the system and the energy field will do pretty much exactly what I want, the way I want, when I want it to. So again, the back two areas back here are essentially what do a whole lot to determine how fast this thing is going to go. And then depending on how much energy you're feeding through it will be dependent upon whether you get directionality out of it. So right now, one of the things that you should be working on more than anything, look at this. I come up and you can actually see instant. It's almost as if a magnet is being applied to the top, which of course it is. Okay? Good practitioner works on nuances like this. Okay? I had one going. Had it going one direction. Now I'm barely moving it and feeding it another direction. Now look. I'm hooking my energy now into the sides of it and literally pulling it along, dragging it at the speed that I want it to go. Now this is not only good for learning how to crank as much energy in as possible and learning how to really speed things up, but it's extremely good for learning how to distribute your energy in precise amounts. Get behind it. Look. See that? Precise amounts. Notice I'm not even getting full turns on any of these now. So learning to work a windmill is extremely important because you get to really learn how to distribute your energy. This is especially good for healing as well because you become completely surgical in how you send your energy in to interact with someone else's body and begin the healing process. See, look at this. Everything being 100% planned, and nothing is out of control. You don't see a whole bunch of wind going crazy here. I mean, I could make the wind go nuts, but the point here is to show the interaction between me and the windmill. Doesn't matter where I stand. One who's in control of their own energy signature can work things accordingly how they choose. Take a look at that. See the buildup? All I did was put my hand over it, move it a little bit, and then I worked it this direction. Okay? Every single move can be seen. This is what it means to be in control of your energy signature to where you are a practitioner of the art. This is an art form. It means more to be able to control your energy system to the perfect degree than it means to be able to blast a whole bunch of energy haphazardly. Now, as we've seen, there's many ways in which to bring energy in, right? So I'm going to stand right about here. We're going to go real slow with this. The reason why I'm going really slow, I want to stay in the frame, because I hope I'm not out of the frame, but I want to go slow enough to where they can see that the speed of this isn't what's causing this to pick up. Alright? So that's the reason why we keep it nice and slow. But what I'm doing here is I'm now layering energy in with this. Just by doing that a few times like that, take a look. I've built up energy within the system that now I can dial. So, just like that, just by cranking this a little bit, that gave us energy. And then all I had to do was point at that to make it spin. So again, one of the things that you want to learn to do is control and dial the amount of energy that's going in. A lot of people think it's really cool to push in a ton of energy, woo! But if you can't slow it down, if you can't move it increment by increment, if you can't stop it, if you can't start it, then a lot of people are not going to buy that you're doing what you say that you're doing. So that's the reason why it's important to be as surgical with this as humanly possible. See? How is this done? You spend a whole lot of time in front, A, of the windmill practicing, or in front of plants practicing. Then B, you start learning to breathe. You start getting certain types of breathing points down. Look. You see that? A little bit of breathing, and I was able to pulse that in and out until it started moving, and you watched as I went in and out like that, it stopped, start, stop, start, stop, start until it came up. So breathing, getting your heart pumping. We've done this before in other videos, but now that we're working on energy training, and now that we're working on building specific points of being able to move energy, because it's one thing to go up and then you have a general flow of energy that's basically blowing everything, and everything is going at one speed. But no one ever gets to see the real interaction of you slowing things down, speeding things up, and making it go at will, because will is what this is all about. If you can't show that you can do this at will, if you can't show that you can actually reach up, tap into anything at any given point, okay, then you don't have the skills that you're claiming to have. So, that's the reason why I spend a lot of time in front of this stuff. That's the reason why I play with this stuff. Precise maneuvers. Only you are going to be able to dial your energy to the point where you know how much you're kicking out and how much you're not kicking out, and that takes practice and it takes time. And again, breathing, learning different types of breathing, learning different types of meditation, learning to let go in your meditations, learning to cancel all thoughts out in your meditations. These are all the things that you need to work with. And again, a lot of the times I've told people before, one of the ways that I knock out all the extraneous thoughts when I'm meditating is by humming. When I focus on a frequency and I set my mind into that frequency, the next thing that happens is all the mind chatter starts to go down. So that's what you're looking for, is you're looking for death of the mind chatter, so that way you can easily step in and start to play with the energy field. Oh, and just in case that other people besides my students watch this, let's have a look around and do a 360-degree view. Okay, so as you see, there's nothing here but me. And I'm doing what I normally do. So, that's what this is about. This is about 100% control. Now, I'm going to start posting videos of specific meditation techniques that I do, but in terms of my students, what I want you to do now, this is your goal. First and foremost, you have to get one of these. And this is the next portion of the training in terms of the, what you'd call the regular curriculum, and then some of the master's curriculum comes up with this too, but in terms of the regular curriculum now, you need to get some of this stuff because you're going to be doing some of your tests. And in your tests, you're going to have to do incremental movements. You're going to have to go from one thing to the next to the next. You're going to have to be able to move these things spot by spot by spot by spot, just like that. You're going to have to be able to flood energy in whenever you want, and so you're going to have to be able to make everything go all at once. And so there's going to be all sorts of different types of ways of testing if you're understanding how this is all operating. So take a look. See how I'm just flooding energy into it now? You have to be able to have that kind of skill and to be able to make it go, stop, and go from each and every individual point. You also have to do directional changes like you saw me doing earlier. And this is what lets you know whether you're getting your energy to the points where you are actually mastering it consciously. It's the reason why we call it self-mastery. Tool that you need to get right here. I would also suggest getting a staff of some variety, because we are going to get into other types of training that also delve into ways of bringing up energy. So as you saw earlier, this thing wasn't even moving. I had this going very slowly, and then with the energy that was sitting in the atmosphere, what I created from that, all I did was take that energy, point into this, and then it went. So, Michael Grubb, Evolved Ministry. This is part of the self-mastery section where now you have to really start working with nuances and making perfect maneuvers. Has to be every time. Eternal love.